Okay, chapter 8, I'm going to just cover some things related to the security exam and some security plus exam and preparation thoughts that you should keep in mind. Again, I've taken this exam. Some people did fail. Luckily, I was not one of them. And I think one of the things I did do was some things I'm going to kind of cover here is outside of the introduction to exam prep. I think it's important to understand the exam objectives. Your study material is going to be important. Um, Practical experience, and I'll go into a bit more about that. Practice exams and quizzes was really my number one go-to, and time management in terms of studying for the exam. And then just some strategies that I picked up along the way from that perspective, and then there's some review and recap. So, as you think about the exam and how you're going to prepare for it, it really requires a structured approach and a thorough understanding of what is the objective, right? So, the goal of this, and obviously, once you get the certification, it validates your skill in cybersecurity. And of course, as I've been kind of preaching all along, it is going to open doors to various IT security roles. It will. I could just tell you that even today, we're looking for resources, and this is one of the entryways or entry points into getting past the AI that's actually reviewing your exam. I'm correcting, reviewing your resume. Obviously, word of mouth and networking will get you in, but as you may or may not know, a lot of your resumes, when it goes through a system to kind of weed out certain skill sets that will not apply. However, if you have cybersecurity, security plus, etc., on your resume and you're able to provide a certification, it does get you through that first gate of interviews. So, what is the exam objective, right? So, it's going to cover six main domains that I've kind of talked about: threats, attacks, vulnerabilities, technologies and tools, architect and design, identity and access management, risk management, cryptology, PKI. So, again, I say familiarize yourself. It doesn't mean you need to be an expert. This kind of was not the intent. Familiarize yourself with the domains. It's really crucial for the targeted prep. So again, along with the videos I provided, some of my definitions and some of my explanations, that's making up with your familiarization. Again, but practice tests and quizzes is going to be the other part of your learning. Again, I invested in quality study materials such as, online courses like one you're taking now. You have practice exam. I would go to CompTIA resources. They do have a books and topics on things that you could get. Again, I don't get any money from CompTIA. It's just they are the authoritative source of a lot of the information that I've been training students on. So sometimes I do send them back there to really get some of their updated test questions. I have here utilize multiple resources, and that's what I did. It's not going to be a one-stop shop, and I keep going back to any group organization that says I'm going to guarantee if you take my course you're going to pass. I push back on that. I think it's going to help. Guarantee, because everybody learns differently, right? What they'll probably say is, we'll guarantee you'll pass or you will take the course again for free. But what if you fail the second time? And I truly believe everyone's learning style is different. It's an aggregated of resource information that's going to get you through these types of exams. It's not going to be one source or other, right? You could say, hey, Paul, your course was horrible. Okay, I'm going to go take someone else's course. And they may go more deeper in the weeds and etc. But if you don't put the time in to structure your learning your studying habits and taking a practical test, doesn't matter what course you take, you're not going to pass. But if you do the work, you organize yourself, then you will. Again, I've taken a lot of exams, some I failed, had to retake, and some I passed. Now, the deciding factor whether I passed or failed is really down to the fact of when I applied myself and I really focused on passing, I passed it. When I kind of like, I'm going to do it, I'm going to wing it, then I failed, right? So you got to ask yourself, how important is this to you? And then act accordingly. I have here hands-on experience is invaluable for Security Plus. So again, I did do this. I did set up a home lab. I did use virtual labs to help me, with understanding identity access management, access control, how you respond to. There's a lot of virtual labs out there. I didn't put any out here because I don't like to support something that I don't normally use every day, but I'm pretty sure they're out there. The goal of this is try to get real world kind of experience to understand the concepts, and the way you do that is by spinning up virtual labs. Now, AWS, Azure, some of these little cloud platforms do allow you to do that, excuse me, for relatively cheap, in my opinion. You use it, then you bring it down. So again, relatively cheap to kind of get all these things done. If you're really serious about cyber, you really want to be a practitioner and you want to grow in this field, get your hands dirty. Do not just say, I'm going to go through and look in a book and I'm going to study some concepts and I'm just going to try to pass. Now, some people will, don't get me wrong. But if they don't really understand the foundational pieces of things, the real backbone, you're not going to be effective when you start to really apply the trade in an organization. You're just not. Again, regularly taking practice exams, quizzes is really to, and again, I cannot say this enough. You'll know pretty quickly whether you're ready or not by going through these taking these exams and quizzes. Really, these practice exams is going to really mirror very closely to the exam and the environment. It's going to really help you identify those areas where you need to study more. And you want to aim for consistent scores above the passing threshold. If you do that, you will pass. I could just tell you that much with very much confidence. But if you're below and you continuously trending below, don't think you're going to miraculously go there and voila, you're going to pass. All right, so this is some things to keep in mind. Time management, time management, time management. Wow. You really want to develop a schedule that's going to really help you allocate your time to each exam domain. Some things you're going to be strong on, some things you're not. You want to focus your study sessions that are more effective than cramming. And some people said, oh, I crammed through college. All right, that's fine. But for most of us, not so much. Especially for this type of test. For this type of test, it's a lot of information and there's a lot of nuances. So take the time to really focus your study habits. Take chunks at a time. Things that you know, you don't have to worry about. Things that you don't know, revisit. Revisit the videos, revisit my concepts, or just send me an email that says, hey, I just didn't get this. Can you send me more? And I probably would. I'm about really empowering the next generation of cybersecurity professionals to really come into the environment, the business, however you want to look at it, so they could there's a lot of us who's been in this industry for a long time, and I won't say our time is up, but again, we need that new generation, and this is again, maybe my small way of trying to help fill that gap from there. So it's exam day. You've studied, you've done everything you could do. Manage your time through an exam. I always say read each question carefully, and then of course eliminate the incorrect answer. If you're able to do that, you will increase your chances of selecting the correct one. Stay, and I do believe it, stay focused and calm. And remember, and if you get through it, review your answers if time permits. One thing I learned about these exams, I'm taking a lot of them, is what is the problem statement? What are they really asking you here? And then make sure your information is based on facts. Even if they throw in something that's wild, you gotta go, well, what does that have to do with the true main point? And then normally you will be able to eliminate two questions right off the bat very easily. So again, that would be a strategy I would recommend. Again, regularly review your study notes, key concepts to reinforce your knowledge. Other thing is, I didn't join basically study groups, but online forums are good to really discuss difficult topics and gain insight from peers. Again, feel free to reach out to me. Um, Glad to send you more information from that perspective. Now, continuous review does help to retain information and boost your confidence. So that's what, again, everything I've been doing, I just review, because it meant that much for me to pass. And again, questionnaire for chapter 8, it's really just a recap. This won't really be on a study on a test. It's just my way of just having you reinforce some things here. Why is practical exam, mock test important? I won't go to a lot of this because again, it's things that is not necessarily in the exam, but things that you need to just be mindful of. What are your strategies? Stay calm. Again, I have here take deep breaths, arrive early, trust in your preparation. I would say that and your ability. And then glossary of terms, virtual lab, mock tests, process of elimination, just some things for you to reinforce. Okay, as always, please reach out to me if you have any questions.